Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Project Network. In this episode, we will be speaking with the teams from Babena and Alpha Slayers Club. This conversation was recorded on June 29th, 2022, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of KPN directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Project Network. Today we're going to be speaking with the team from Alpha Slayers Club as well as the team from Babena.art. So it should be a good talk. Everyone's joining up now. Hello everyone, feel free to say hello.
Hello, hello. Good to hear you again.
Hello. Good to hear you
Hello
guys
there.
again. How you guys all doing?
Hello, guys.
Doing good. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing quite well. Glad to see everyone just joining right up.
It seems like I'm having troubles with my internet connection. Is it fine now?
It seems all right. I can hear you. You're not going in and out or anything.
Perfect.
So yeah, we'll just give it a few minutes for everyone to join in. Quite excited to have not just one project to talk to today, but two. So it should be quite an interesting conversation.
It's the first time we're with Babena too, right?
On KPN, that's for sure. I don't know if you guys have done AMAs in the past before together or not, but
Yeah, we've listened to a few for sure. Actually, Babena was I think one of the first projects I ever discovered on Kadena.
yeah, they've been around since the beginning of the community, so
Yeah, hi, guys. Sorry.
in one way or another.
Some ads, some
Hey, no worries.
were on. I couldn't get. Yeah, so basically, I started project in September. Yeah, it was long time ago. Still in development, So, and later we started development in early November. So it's basically now around 8-9 months of development. It started as a fun little project. Babena's doing the job. They doing the work. We're just their messengers and having fun around. So that's the story. And that's we didn't to make all marketplace and all, but there wasn't any, so we just started in that direction, and now we're here launching soon, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, someone had to build something, right? If there isn't anything out there, it's pretty much up to the community, especially with these somewhat decentralized type projects like Kadena, where like the main team can only do so much to build the protocol layer, but it's up to us to build the community, to build the DeFi projects and the DEXs and all that stuff on top of that protocol. So I'm glad to see people stepping up and taking that initiative to do that.
Yes, absolutely agree, because they built Kadena swap infrastructure, and you have Cadex, Anedac, and KDA swap, and now they built Marmalade, and Marmalade is not a marketplace itself, it's also infrastructure, and you can build on top of it, and so they're building infra to give you tools to finish that, to build front end and everything else. So that's their focus,
Yeah.
and you need to continue on their infra. That's pretty much it.
Yep, that's definitely the way forward, and glad to see a lot more people building on that. And as more people build, that'll build more use cases for other people then to use as resources. Because right now, that's also another problem, is that we don't have a big, large eco structure built up already, like on Solana or on Ethereum or on these other large NFT platforms, where they have lots of other use cases and previous things that you can use as for going for reference. But it's nice to see the community, though, come together and these different projects helping each other to overcome these issues and work together and audit each other's stuff. And it's really, really good to see the people step up and build these things. So glad to see you guys taking the lead on an NFT marketplace, which will definitely be a very much needed part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you. As you said, we work with each other. We work with a lot of teams. At least you messages, you ask them, you chat with them, you meet them. That's really cool. You read each other contracts and see is anything wrong. And it happened a few times already. With others, and you tell them and things like that. It's really, really nice, being so early, you know almost everyone here, So we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a growing thing that'll take time, but I could see, within a few years, depending on how hard people dig down during this what could be probably a long bearish market, that hopefully a lot of teams will step up and use this time to develop and build in the background and build off of each other and just turn Kadena into the next top 10 huge ecosystem platform that everyone wants to be part of.
Yeah, I think the same, is the day we're all waiting for. And you see daily projects are coming here, every day I see 1-2 new projects on Twitter, and it's wonderful, really. That's really nice. They read your contract, you help them, you help each other, you are in touch with them, and you work together. So that's really nice.
Yeah, and
For sure.
I think Kadena is also uniquely positioned in that case, right? Because even before the bear market set in, I think it was a very interesting case because Kadena is just kicking off with its ecosystem. Like the first tools and projects are launching now, and the bear market gives us even more time, and I think also like time to make some mistakes that are maybe not as much noticed in a bear market as in a bull market. So I think it's a good phase for trial and error, and that's also something positive to take away from that situation.
For sure, less eyes on the market will definitely allow people to work easily in the background and not have to have that stress of oh my God, our market cap is rising. There's more I guess more issues can happen if we run into bugs, because it's the more value that comes to it. It's the people. You're still, in a sense, you're messing with people's money. So it can be a thin line to walk sometimes with these projects, just to make sure that you're still providing the best project possible, no matter the market. But it seems like as long as you have a good, strong team and you have the drive and you're in it for the technology and not just for the quick buck, then the sky's the limit with Kadena. We're so early that projects that start right now will have such a lead and such a head towards all the other projects in the future that it'll just snowball from there.
Yeah, I actually wanted to add like a little bit more salt to this. I actually think it's kind of a good situation. So Kingslayer already said that you have a little bit more room for experimentation. But the other thing I would add is building new things is usually actually taking quite a lot of time. And what happens in a bull market is that it's often driven by the applications that have been built during the downturn, right? And because they simply need time to develop and to really bring it to a point where it works. And then once the bull market is there and these applications are out, because they're all open source, it's relatively easy to do exactly the same thing again, right? But this then isn't as innovative as the ones that have actually started this. I don't know if you are familiar with this whole Olympus DAO hype. There were I don't know who in the audience was aware of this, but this was like a huge thing on in the Ethereum ecosystem, and it was all based off of a single, basically a single team, and they've developed something that was quite extraordinary and innovative indeed, right? Regardless whether it's good or bad. But a few weeks later, after they had gained serious traction, all of a sudden you had like 5, 6, 7 of these at the same time, right? And then it really feels like crypto is like this super, super fast space. But in reality, like building these applications is super hard, right? And I think also Babena can confirm, like it's like, especially in an ecosystem like Kadena, it's not trivial to build a smart contract and to have it communicate with like some kind of a front end and be working smoothly. You know, that's not how this works, right? And so I think for us and all the projects that are out there right now, and anybody in the audience who's thinking about doing this, I think it's a really good time, because nobody's really expecting you to, you know, outperform everybody in the field, and like it's pretty much about sticking around and working on what you think makes sense. And you know, the next bull market is going to come, and then everybody's going to be ready, right? And I think that's also the philosophy that we've really adopted over the last few months, when we started that things were kind of turning south, right? And we're super glad to have some people with us who are sticking with us through it, and you know, they're all gonna be excited once things are back up again, right? And I think that's kind of like maybe a little detour on how we think this can actually be a super beneficial time for builders.
Definitely, it's definitely going to be a time for people to step up and show, like you said, it's the projects that build now that build the next wave. Like you could kind of see that the last big push for Ethereum kind of rode around the same time as the height of OpenSeas and the Ethereum NFT markets, and Bay-Yacht clubs going crazy and all that kind of stuff pulled Ethereum's price to its new all-time highs. And really, that stuff was all built, you know, during a bear market, in the background, worked on, and then presented and built up. So we're pretty much like so far back right now with Kadena as to where Ethereum is, that, you know, a good solid marketplace, like, and as you said, these things are not easy to build. They involve not just the back end blockchain stuff, but you also have, you know, your website, you have all your social medias, there's so much that's also involved with starting these projects that people don't really think about, I think, when they begin, you know, oh, I'm going to start an NFT project. And they sometimes find that a lot of projects find that they get in over their heads. But it's good to see that the community here at Kadena is very much like, you know, help each other out. And, you know, if you have issues, you know, very much can, you know, go to another project and say, hey, you know, can you take a look at this smart contract, run it over testnet a bunch of times, find the bugs, make sure everything works out. And like you said, we're in a market where people aren't really paying too much attention to that right now. So it gives us time to play around in the background and find what works best for everybody and is also secure.
Yeah, and one more thing to add, I think it's also important, is all the FOP that is usually created from other ecosystems and supporters of other ecosystems, especially if you're not that far as other projects are already, because like Kadena I think has a lot of catching up to do, because I think the fundamentals have been built over the last couple of years, and I think that's also something that we've seen during the run up to, I think it was like $26, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was within a couple of weeks, and everyone was like so excited about this new chain web technology that's actually been around for quite some time already, but it hasn't gotten the attention beforehand. And then when people started to take a closer look, they said, there's actually not that much going on yet, and which is also quite obvious if you think about like how much time it takes to develop something like that. And I think the bear market comes just in the right time for the entire ecosystem to kick off a little bit. And I think once we're out of this bear market, may it be, I don't know, in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I think the entire ecosystem will be much more stronger. A lot of mistakes have been made, and then it's time to for this entire community and ecosystem to expand and also attract new capital, new people, and I think it will be a much stronger foundation that we can build on.
Definitely. As long as we have, the Kadena team has built all of these great underlying protocols for us to build upon, and they're still Marmalade is still in works. It's on testnet. It is live on chain 8, I believe. So you can fully mint and everything, NFTs and all that stuff right now, but it's not. It's still a beta phase. I think we're still so early in the space that it's, like I said, the projects that come on top now and come up with the secure, and not just secure, but another thing that I've been mentioning with a lot of the other projects I speak with is that the next wave of applications and stuff built on these layers need to be turnkey, super user friendly to bring the most adoption. And with Pact being a fairly easy smart contract coding to learn, for people who you still do need some dev understanding to read the smart contracts. We can all kind of say, it's not your average day Joe is not going to be able to write a Pact smart contract right out the get-go. But we are getting closer with guides and things like that. But it is much more simpler, and the way that people can make the best out of this is utilizing the blockchain in a way that people don't even know that that's what they're using. So hopefully we get to that place where it's some other places like OpenSeas is fairly easy to use with the, just connect to your wallet, sign transactions and stuff like that. Most people can figure that out. But if we could make things even more turnkey, and I find that Kadena's Marmalade and everything has all the real tools that we need in the background to not only do NFTs, but do marketplaces correctly, share royalties correctly, because that's another problem I see with a lot of the NFT marketplaces on the other platforms is royalties. The big ones, platforms and big projects arguing about royalties, about how it's not being properly split and blah, blah, blah. So all that can be solved right at the protocol level with Kadena, which is another amazing thing. And once that really brings more traction, I believe that the market will just take off, especially for NFTs. And if you have a marketplace that's going to be able to provide all that right off the start, you're going to be the next blue chip item.
Yeah, I agree. I can mention few things about Marmalade to clarify for you. Actually,
Sure.
Kadena today published a new post about Marmalade. So Marmalade is not marketplace itself. It's infra, as I said already, and you can build marketplace and everything you want. So, but you said it's on chain 8. Yeah, it is. Marmalade infra is on chain 8, but you can build your own infra and publish on any other chain. That's why, we have our own Marmalade infra, and we can launch in a few days, launch mint, and everything on any other chain will launch on chain 3 because we had a sale on chain 3. So that's small correction, but yeah, Marmalade infra is on chain 8, but you can build your own, so it's a little bit different. It's it's not like usual marketplace. It's really something different. As you said, on-chain royalties, so you don't depend on exchanges, itself. And for example, you have also escrow. So when you're selling NFT, it goes into escrow, so owner can get access to it. And it stays in escrow until the expiry date, and that user can withdraw back if it's not sold, because that happened before on OpenSea. People will get back their own NFT back even if they sold. So these shady sales can happen with Marmalade. On the top of Kadena, which you have, also literally gas free. You have gas station and it's scalable on the top of these things. So it's really something else and something new and something different, which will be, which we'll see, in next bull run, in next, I don't know when it will be, but other blockchains will notice it, and see what's really good for them, and they will come. That's I'm sure.
Oh, I'm for sure too. And if we build a nice, safe, secure place for everyone to come, they will flock. And as more projects are coming out, and like you said, seems to be a new project almost every day popping up and announcing themselves on Kadena. And as long as these projects are all building towards a common goal and furthering Kadena, the sky is the limit. And when the next bull run comes, we will be positioned to take off. And it'll be definitely something to watch, and we'll be looking back at these times as the beginning times, and how good it was back in the old days, kind of sense. So I don't know if you guys want to maybe explain a little bit more about your individual products. I know Babena's talked a lot about the marketplace and stuff. I don't know if Alpha Slayers, if you guys want to go over a little your elevator speech about your project, maybe, in case anyone listening isn't aware.
Kingslayer, you want to go ahead? We've become a little bit rusty. This is actually the first place in a while, so cut us some slack.
No, I think I can first go ahead and talk about where we come from and what the initial idea of our project was. And actually, we have some alpha to share today in this space. So maybe Yeti, you can go ahead afterwards and expand on that. So initially, the Alpha Slayers Club was founded by us in order to create a cross-chain alpha hub inside of a Discord channel, and because we come from different backgrounds. We have experience in the Ethereum and the Terra ecosystem, and within the Terra ecosystem, we've experienced how the entire NFT space kicked off, and how all the different protocols launched within a couple of months, and you basically had time to have a look at everything and kind of analyze each individual project, and based on that also make an investment decision. And also through friends in the Ethereum ecosystem, we got some early alpha information for those projects. But what we noticed pretty quickly was that the time that you have to research and analyze each individual protocol from different ecosystem is quite limited. And so for us, it was always a question, okay, where do we get our alpha information from? And is there some way to actually pool the alpha information, and especially research on early and small cap protocols from different ecosystems in one place? And as you know, in the crypto space, you have the Twitter feeds, which are super noisy, but I guess still more structured than the Telegram channels. And then you have different Discord channels, and also Discord alpha channels. But all of these channels are quite noisy, and that's where we came up with the idea to build an NFT project that actually pools alpha from different ecosystems. So what we ultimately wanted to do was get in researchers and also private investors from different ecosystems together in one Discord in our NFT project, so to say. that share alpha information or early information on small cap projects in a structured way within this Discord, and they get incentivized by being paid out in a stable coin. That was like the initial plan for providing these alpha information. So if we're actually putting in the time and providing research with the rest of the community, and this research obviously has to have a certain quality, and there's always like the question, okay, how do you assure that this research is actually high quality and not just someone trying to earn some free money? And with that, we actually want to solve that with an incentive program that everyone in the community has tokens to give away to research threads. So like we wanted this research to be shared in forms of threads. So in Discord, you can actually create like a thread and name it like with a certain topic. Let's say, I don't know, like CADEX, this is a gas-free DEX, and under the header, you actually provide the entire analysis. And for that, we have templates and everything. And then we send someone out, or someone can also like just do it on a like personal motivation and research any project that is out there and provide that information within a thread. And then everyone else from the community can read that thread. And if it's actually good information, they can reward it with a token. And everyone in the community has only so many tokens to give away per week. And the most rewarded research thread is actually getting paid the most in a stablecoin in the end of every week. So if you're actually providing good information, everyone can discuss underneath the thread and also confirm that the information provided is accurate. We're also going to have people in the team who are going to double check all the information provided, and people can also correct you. So if they say, okay, I actually see it in a different way because I think it's an interesting project, but I don't think it's going to be successful because of A, B, and C. And in the end, you just get rewarded for the amount of alpha that you share, but also for the quality. So if you share like a really high quality thread, people are going to reward you for it. And in the end of each week, we're just going to do a ranking of all the alpha threads that have been shared. And each thread was going to be rewarded with a stablecoin. And we thought this is a perfect way of actually saving everyone's time and also giving everyone the necessary information to look at the right spot in the crypto ecosystem, let it be on Ethereum, Solana, Kadena, back then Terra as well, and see which projects have the potential to do, I don't know, like a 5x, a 10x, 20x. I mean, we've all seen it in crypto, and also actually have the information that this project is out there and not only see it after it has already done like 10x, 20x. So, and okay, let me start with the NFT part. So we thought like an NFT project that is structured that way doesn't have to be an NFT project. You just have to have a token with which you can access a Discord, and afterwards you have access to all the alpha information. And we've seen that with other Discords beforehand, and all of them totally exclude the art part. But we said, okay, we're also in it for the art, and we think that everyone who is part of the community should be able to show it to the outside. So we thought, okay, there's no way we're going to build a project like that without actually having badass looking artwork. And that's kind of how we came up with the Alpha Slayer. That is, the rabbit that you can see on some of the profile pictures. And yeah, that's kind of how our idea came along. And both of us have about like 2 years experience in the crypto space, and we've always had the struggle to to actually find these early stage projects early on and not FOMO in when it's already too late. And Yeti, if you want to, you can share the alpha that we have to share today.
Okay. So I see a few people that are actually in our community already, and some of them have been around for quite a while. Estezera, great to see you, and Cryptnaut, and a few others. So the ones that have been with us for a while, they know that this kind of this mechanism, as we planned initially, wasn't working out as as perfectly as we thought, right? And we think that this is not a bad thing at all. It's it was an experiment, and we wanted to see if people from that are coming from random places in the ecosystem are as willing to share this kind of research as we were, and there were some people that did and that were looking at projects very closely, but we could also understand that this wasn't necessarily it for everybody, right? And so what over the past weeks we've been thinking about this quite a bit, and we've also looked into Pact quite a lot, but we were also thinking about first, how can we respond to the changing market conditions that we obviously are facing right now, right? So UST is out of the room, Anchor is out of the room, so that's sad. But also, as I was just saying, we didn't see that type of engagement from the community just yet, and it would have been great, but it's, as I said, it's also okay that this is not the case. So, but at the same time, we actually like looking at these projects very closely, and we are also happy to write about this kind of stuff, right? So, especially Kingslayer. I mean, I've learned so much through him alone. It's amazing, like the way he looks at projects. It's very structured, very rational, I have to say, and we think that this is actually really useful to a lot of people, and that they will enjoy doing this. And so what we're now thinking about is actually getting back to something that we've done back when we were, on our original ecosystems, and so we were experimenting a little bit with podcasts and with YouTube videos where we would do these kinds of analysis, and we actually think that this level of insight is currently lacking a little bit, right? And we know that there are some projects that are presenting projects, right? Not the least to mention, obviously, Kadena Project Network. But of course, there is also some insight that goes into how you look at a project, right? And how you look at tokenomics, how you look at a roadmap, how you assess a team, how you even looking at a chart, right? Thinking about what are some what is the proper way to do a price prediction, right? Based off of certain fundamentals. And so I mean, there's some things that we've seen, but if you compare this to other ecosystems against Kadena, for sure, there's just a huge gap, right? And the nice thing is that so many things on Kadena simply haven't been built yet, right? But they will, right? It's just a matter of finding them and then really understanding, is this a solid team? Is it a solid roadmap? Are they going to be able to handle this? Is there some kind of a realistic timeline in place? Do you see them talking to George P on the official Kadena channel and all these kinds of things, right? And so we think that this kind of information right now is still somehow manageable, especially in the Kadena space, but also in other smaller ecosystems. So yeah, this is just what we enjoy doing. And so just to round this out, we're basically now stepping away from expecting the whole community to basically pull this weight, right? So we're still happy, and we're also gonna, we hope that we can be an example, and others are stepping in and are sharing their thoughts on this. But we think that, like especially at the stage where we're at right now, that we can actually deliver some really interesting insight. And yeah, so we're super excited to see the response. We've actually talked to a bunch of people from the community one-to-one about this already over the last few weeks, and the response has been very positive. And also, it looks like the appetite to invest in projects at all is coming back, which seemed to like a little bit dim for a while for obvious reasons. Yeah, so these are just some things where we thought, okay, so that's the kind of switch that we can make without putting the project in jeopardy. And this is also a way how we can provide value to the community, right, by pointing out where are some gaps or where are some new things coming up. Yeah, this is something we wanted to share today. Yeah, curious to hear what you're thinking or what your questions are about this.
Yeah, and just one thing to add to that. So like basically what we want to do is kind of like take the burden of our from the shoulders of our community and take it into our own hands, and basically be the alpha generating engine behind the entire project. But in the long term, we also want the community to engage and invite everyone to also share alpha and also get rewarded for alpha. That is something that we like. This is kind of like the core of our project that we want to keep up no matter what happens, because like we are the alpha slayers after all, and I think everyone from the community will be an alpha slayer, or everyone who is holding one of the NFTs. And yeah, he should have or she should have the opportunity to also participate in that. And if someone wants to be an early project researcher, he is happily invited to do so. And we're going to do it on a much more regular basis as well. Like we going to publish videos on a regular basis on YouTube. We also long term probably going to go in the direction of a newsletter and so on. So basically be like this entire alpha production hub and analyze projects on a kind of like from a rational perspective, see where they can go, where the risk lay. Because one thing that we've seen over the last couple of years, and there was also like a huge motivation why we created this project, is that there's a lot of unexperienced investors, and also like a lot of investors who haven't been in the space for too long, and they don't even know like specifics regarding tokenomics and all the risks that they're facing if they're entering a project after it has already done like a couple of X and has already had like a not natural upturn for quite a while, and then they're aping in, buying high, selling low, etc. And I think it's always beneficial to guide people who don't have the experience into becoming a more experienced investor. And I think with the right information and right content generated, you can help as many people as possible. And I think it just makes sense for us to spin the entire thing around the Alpha Slayers project, because it's just like a fitting environment.
Yes, that all sounds great. It's definitely needed in this space where people, people are getting more into crypto every day, but at the same time, don't really seem to want to take the time to just do the basic research on what they're investing in. Mostly because, like you said, it takes a long time to do the research on a lot of these projects, and there's so many of them out there now to choose from that it's good to have a solidified space for this information, be it alpha information, be it just, hey, a breakdown of a project, maybe like even a rating system would be handy. There's a lot of times where I got into, for example, I was into the Elron NFT craze when it first started happening on the Elron network, and bought a lot of projects that I definitely did not spend very much time looking into. That did eventually rug pull, and just all of a sudden, their socials were gone, the wallets were emptied, and that was it. You're stuck with useless NFT. And it'd be good to have a place and a community where you could find trusted projects and projects that are in it for the long haul and are vetted and things like that. And a space like you guys coming together to bring that space for people sounds great. I wish there was something like that for when I first got into crypto. I probably would have wasted a lot of time and money.
Just to pick up on this notion, what you've just said, this is exactly why we started this in the first place, right? We wish there would have been something like this when we first started. Like, this was literally the sentence that based on which we founded this project, right? Because it only started for the two of us when we finally met somebody, actually independently, who kind of filled us in, right? And even yesterday I was talking to somebody, like he told me that there are two chains on which you can launch NFTs, Ethereum and Solana, right? And he wanted to explain something to me, and I knew where he came from, right? Like he couldn't know any better, but I knew what mountain he had to climb to only get to like a base level of literacy of what you need in order to do something, right? And then I asked him what he had invested in, and he mentioned like 10 projects, right? And I mean, it's fine. It's just what it is, and I'm not judging this, but when you've spent some time in this area, and when you have like a little bit of a technical background, then you quickly understand that this really is not sufficient to figure out like what you're actually doing, right? And it's kind of sad that this is the case, but at the same time, this is also where the opportunities are, right? This is just what it is, right? Like once it gets obvious for everybody, then it's not interesting anymore, right? Like from many different standpoints, right? And maybe it's not even to make money, right? But maybe to just discover an interesting idea or an interesting project that you want to work on, and where you want to chime in, as we did with Kadena, right? Like, we're basically free employees to the ecosystem now, propagating it because we thought it was exciting, and it was, in my case, it was just because Kingslayer told me about it, and he said, dude, like, read the white paper, like, this is kind of stuff that you're gonna like, right? And we think it's going to be like this for many other people, and we've seen this time and time again, that there was somebody that said, I wish I had this back when it was started, right? And like, that's kind of the ambition that we have, and so let's hope that we can somehow meet this.
Yeah, and another thing to add to that is that a lot of investors start their way, and everyone loses money in the beginning and does their mistakes, right? Some learn from it quicker, some don't. But I think it's always important that you start projects and also like educating people like with the like best knowledge that you have. And I don't know, if you can make someone else's life better, I think you should do so. And especially in nowadays time, it's a huge problem that everyone wants to get rich quick. And if you're on a Twitter feed, I think everyone has like seen probably 10 projects being shilled every day on their Twitter feed, and you constantly have this like fear of missing out, right? And you always like want to be on the next train that goes up, and want to be there as early as you can. But I think smart money like doesn't work that way, right? Like smart money actually looks in a like way more like fundamental way at projects. They analyze it way more deeply. They really understand what it is about, and they also don't necessarily hodl all the way to infinity, because it's also not the, even though like some of you might hate me for saying that, but even holding Kadena like all the way up to $26, saying, oh yeah, one day it could potentially go to a couple of $100, which is probably the like a right sentence. It doesn't mean that it's matching the fundamentals right now and what is going on the chain, and it probably makes some sense to have some profit-taking targets as well, like on the way up. And I'm not saying that you should sell everything once you're up, I don't know, a couple of X. Always like keep something like at least like a little position, so you like don't get upset if it moons even further. But there is a lot of if you talk about technical analysis, also like sentiment analysis and everything that you can use to actually time your investments better. And I think a lot of early investors hear about crypto the first time once it's booming again, and have the fear of missing out, ape in, experience their first crash, and are down, I don't know, 50-60% on their like initial position, which hurts really badly, because that is actually money that you invested in the first place that you're losing. But I think it's also like a very important lesson to learn for every single crypto investor. And if they stick around, learn their fundamentals, and learn more about each project, learn how they analyze the project, I think you can go like a really, really long way in the next couple of years. But like the fewest people get rich like in the means of a couple of months. Like you have to spend a couple of years, and most of them actually spend a couple of market cycles in the space to actually build up like a sizable position that lets them live comfortably until the end of their lives. But yeah, if you're genuinely curious about the space, I think it's really important to stick in the place, like to stick in the space for pretty much every day, and research, learn, make mistakes, and improve yourself every single day. And we actually want to be a project that helps with that and makes the process easier.
Yes, that's one thing that's definitely needed more in this space, is for people to just take the time to do some basic research. Start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very basic to learn once you learn the basics of it. It's finite. 21 million coins are ever going to be mined. You know, it's very basic to learn that. You know, another thing that people need to learn about investing in crypto is that I find a lot of people do not understand is how fiat money actually operates. I find that once you learn that, you look at crypto and things in a whole new light. You see it completely differently than how it's presented in the media and stuff like that. And then and then another thing with these big price swings, and you know, like you said, people, it's the age-old cartoon of there's two selling windows, and one window has a lady sitting in it, and it says, you know, $40,000 Bitcoin, and there's a whole lineup of people lined up to buy it. Then there's the window next to it with a guy sitting there like tapping his fingers that says $20,000 Bitcoin, and there's nobody lined up to buy it. That's the problem, is that the people, that it should be the other way around, and people just aren't waking up to that yet. But eventually they will, after you go through a cycle or two of that, and you learn quite quickly how that works. A lot of people just need to zoom their chart out and look to the left a little bit more to see how these waves have been going through the past 10 years or so. It's all cyclatory.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, and even if you, I guess like the minority of people actually learns from like the first crash, and also doesn't learn from investing into Bitcoin at 60,000 and going all the way down to 30,000. They say, okay, I'm probably going to sell it now and just like save some of my investment. I think like if you're here today, I think you're already like ahead of the majority of crypto investors, because like you've actually made it of the top 3 coins maybe, and like on the exchanges, because I always like see the entire space like in that way, that there's and start with 100% of crypto investors. They all have to onboard like through like a central exchange, and then there's Binance, KuCoin, Coin Metro, and so on. And on these like exchanges, you actually have like a bunch of coins, right? Then you have like the 3 big ones that are known to everyone, and they probably say, okay, let's play like the safe game and invest into Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Binance Coin, and then they leave their money there. And then there is like a couple of investors, maybe 20% of those like 100 investors, that go a step further and say, okay, let's try some of these other coins out. I don't know what it is about, but I'm just going to invest some money into those. Then of those like 20, maybe 16 go further and say, okay, let's actually research those coins and what are they about and what is the vision behind it. And I think only like a small percentage of those are actually transferring their crypto from a centralized exchange to the actual blockchain and do something on the blockchain, or actually hold the crypto in their wallet. And I think probably the majority in this space here has used or interacted with a blockchain beforehand, let it be Kadena, Ethereum, or Terra, or whatever. And I think if you've done that, you're already like far ahead of the curve. And if you then know how to like analyze the project and see like what is the team behind the project, what is their vision, is that product actually needed on the market, is there like a product market fit, then you're like far ahead, and you have such an edge in the investment space that over the long term you're definitely going to get rewarded. And then you can also like diversify your portfolio and do the entire like the entire basic like learnings of like how an investor has to act. And then like in the long term, I think these returns in the crypto space are just exponentially high if you take some correct bets. Like every of your bet has to be the right one. And I think this is just huge that we hear so early. And I cannot repeat often enough how early I think we are in the space. And if you think about that, we like on Kadena, which is just in the top 100 coins, I guess, and you can think about how few people actually know about this project, know about Kadena. And if we are all right and say Kadena is going to be like one of the leading blockchains, I mean, you can do the math and have to be patient, I guess, and be helpful in spreading the word about Kadena and actually growing this network. And I think all of this takes patience, and nobody's going to get rich from today to tomorrow. I mean, there's always some exceptions, but I wouldn't bet on that.
No, I definitely would not bet against Kadena, that's for sure. And one easy way to do that is just for someone just to go to the Kadena.io, go to About, and just read behind the tech, the founders, the vision, read the little bios about each person, and you'll see that, Kadena isn't just this new coin. People are just hearing about it for sure as we grow this eco-structure even bigger. But it's been around since like 2016. For the first like 2 or 3 years, it pretty much was just them working on it in the background. Like barely anybody even knew about it. But as we get further and further, like we are just so early. Like crypto in general, yes, is very early to the game, and there's so much more for crypto as a whole to move forward. But Kadena itself, for sure, is with with the skills behind it and what they've built, the protocols, it definitely is poised to make some big waves in the future, that's for sure. And lots of cool, interesting things will be built on it. Now, another cool thing I wanted to mention while we were talking about this is the one cool thing I learned about the Kadena background. I actually learned from a really cool little comic that I found when I was researching Babena today. Now, I don't know how many people have actually seen the comic. It's comic.babena.io. I absolutely loved that comic. I thought that was the most genius comic I've read. For it teaches people kind of like in a fun way the history of Kadena.
Yeah. I think there's 20, 25 or so something sites. Yeah, I started doing that, when we started in October, I think so. I actually researched a lot about Kadena and their founders, and you can see pretty much everything in comic, but in fun way. So it's like I need to retweet again about comic because a lot of new people didn't see it, So I'll do that again. It's quite a good story, I think, and in fun way about Kadena. So actually, founders read, Will and Stuart also. They had fun last year with it, and so it's quite a nice, story for people to, even learn about Kadena in some fun way, and learn about Babena.
I think it would be neat to turn almost into an interactive comic NFT that you
Yeah, that's the plan, but I can't.
mint a whole bunch of them, and I think it would just be a really cool thing for either like giveaways or just like certain
That's the plan. Yeah, I agree. That's the plan. Even on NFTs can have multiple ownership, so we can, give 10 people one comic or something. And these quite few nice things we can do with Marmalade, but we'll come there. We need to, finish first these things, Babena NFT, and then we'll see what we can do still this summer for our community and for everyone. So we have, also a few songs. We need to write a few more. Maybe we can, mint that also and a few fun things, not to sell, just to, share and give, and so people can see what can be done with Marmalade and NFTs in general. So.
Awesome. I for one was just sold as soon as I saw the very first page of the comic. I was like, "This is you got."
Yeah, first one was the best. First one was the best. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, this has actually been a really amazing talk, and I've learned quite a bit. And I am super excited about everything both of you guys are working on. The Marmalade and the whole NFT marketplace is going to be absolutely amazing on Kadena, I think. And once we get some good structures built up, a bunch of projects launched, it's just going to be a massive takeover. And I'm just so happy that we're so early in the space and getting to meet all these projects that are going to lead the way into the future. So very exciting.
Let's fucking go.
I don't know if anyone else that's listening wants to step up, but maybe it has any questions. Feel free to send an invite to speak. I will definitely add you up. Any of you other guys got anything else you want to wrap up with and say? Little promos or any other secret alpha stuff that you might want to share? I know I, for one, as soon as those comics are available as an NFT, I'll be one of the first.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I can share I can share a few things what we have a plan with our marketplace, and we also we are working on another project with the another teams with Galina and Kitty. They are actually individuals.
Oh, awesome.
So first, I hope it will be that ready soon. We're working on staking staking Marmalade NFTs currently. So when Babena launch, it will be available to stake NFTs for on Stake Factory, and you'll get fair share of Babena tokens. That's one of the first one we planned to do. Second one is marketplace and marketplace rewards. We want to reward people and have promo months. For example, Kadena during the summer promo rewards for trading and using our marketplace. So they will get rewards in Babena tokens. Third one, we want to do for the Babena NFT holders, we want to do that marketplace is with zero fees. I mean, zero platform fees, 1% or 2%, what will be, depends, on the market. And, that's the three main things which we can give a value for our investors and community. So that's mostly it. I didn't share that yet, but we'll write a Medium post soon before a new sale in next couple of days, so that everyone knows. I just wanted to share here something. So that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, people love saving on fees, that's for sure. Especially during these during these downtimes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And for the staking you mentioned, is this going to be rewarded with your platform token, or or is there going to be a possibility to also add like a utility token from another protocol in it?
Yes, Stake Factory will have their own token, but we didn't route yet tokenomics. We didn't publish it. We have it. It will be in next couple of days too with the new landing page and all. But for example, on Stake Factory, everyone can come in. Alpha slayers can come in, open pools for NFT staking, and you can reward them with your tokens, or you can make partnership with Stake Factory, and you can reward them with your tokens and part of stake tokens. So there's a lot of possibilities. You can stake NFTs and earn NFTs. You can stake tokens and earn NFTs, and vice versa. So it will be a lot of utilities for this platform, Kadena blockchain. I'm sure. Especially it's a lot of it's done. It has a working UI, and a lot of contracts are done thanks to our Galina. And it's been working on daily. We are in touch daily. We're working together, and it's fun and it's really nice. So pretty much every project on Kadena will be able to use it. So that's wonderful. And that's awesome for the whole chain, and it's coming really soon. That's the most important thing. So
nice. We're excited.
Yeah, we should have a separate space about this project.
For sure,
also.
yeah.
With few. George here is in the team here also here. So, but there are 5 of us, so we should have another one.
Yeah, let's do.
Well, if you guys are more than welcome to contact us. We'd be more than welcome to host any talks or anything.
Yeah, we had
we're always here.
Thanks. We had Ama with you already on Telegram, but it's always there, also.
Yeah, we're very easy to get a hold of. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to join in, or anyone else that wants to say step up and have any questions or anything. I know I, for one, learned a lot tonight about both projects, and I'm very excited for both. I know I'll be contributing what I can to Alpha Slayers. Whenever I have some alpha, I'll be throwing my 2 cents in, and can't wait to see a marketplace start to form and see all of these great projects come together and share pools and do all types of fun stuff.
We're down.
Thank you. We're waiting also.
Of course.
Every project on Kadena, so pretty much excited for everything, so.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time in the next coming months, years. It's just going to be the future of Kadena has so many bright paths ahead. It's going to be fun to watch. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this talk tonight. So make sure to follow everyone that followed or that was part of this talk tonight. So Babena, make sure you follow them, Alpha Slayers, everyone, and stay up to date with what they're doing. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and talk to you next time. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks.
That wraps it up for another amazing AMA. Thank you very much for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure you are up to date on everything KDA related. You can find the links directly on our SoundCloud profile page. Thank you and take care.